By Ford, we are local. And by the Emerald Queen Casino, presenting Cage Sport Mixed Martial Arts April 27th. For tickets, go to emeraldqueen.com. Welcome back out here in the pen. A chilly night. Beyond that ferry, be a fan here at Safeco Field. Roof is on for the first time, at least during the pregame show. Mariners get set for game 2 of the set. Game 2 of 19 against the Rangers, so both teams obviously know each other very well. And the pitchers on the mound tonight also know each other very well. Friendly foes. Lots of eyes on this game tonight, including the two men calling the game. Up in the booth, it's Dave Sims, Mike Flowers. Guys, a fun, intriguing kind of pitching matchup tonight.
Oh, no doubt about it, Brad. Big Japanese flavor, and I'm sure fans back in Japan are watching this game with great interest. Two of their top stars playing here tonight in the major leagues. It's the Mariners and the Texas Rangers. It's Darvish against Sashi Iwakuma. Darvish, they paid multi-millions to get him over here, and Iwakuma was a big surprise in the second half.
Well, Iwakuma was, and he's pitched well here to start the season. He has a couple outings against the White Sox in Chicago where, well, the weather wasn't always the best at times. He really pitched well in this game. A couple of home runs that he gave up, but other than that, he's pitched deep into both games. 8 innings in this game against the White Sox, and that pitch is going to be critical for him today, being able to throw his slider. There's a good split. The biggest key with the Rangers, you have to keep the ball on the ground, Dave. You have good defense, use those guys. Iwakuma so far has done an excellent job of that.
Take a look at Iwakuma's numbers since he became a starter last July, too. Look at that record, 9-4 with a 2.64.
Well, and I think, again, the weather tonight, it's a cool night playing here at Safeco Field. It'll be his first start at Safeco. I think that plays right into his hands. And again, it's been the command of his fastball so that he can pitch around with his slider and his split. If he can keep him off balance, he'll have a good chance tonight.
Darvish won 16 games for the Rangers last year. I tell you what, the Mariners more than held their own against them.
And the biggest reason why is the base on balls. The Mariners have really taken advantage of some wildness of Darvish. So I'll be interested to see if they're going to be patient with him early in the game. That's the way that they've been able to get him. This is a guy with electric stuff. Good fastball at 95 miles an hour, hard slider and a split. But if he's wild, you can get to him, and that's been the key for the Mariners.
This is the guy that started the season 1 out away from a perfect game. Let's get more on Darvish with Angie Mentick.
All right, guys, thanks so much. You just saw that the Seattle Mariners are 2-2 against Darvish, but he has never won here at Safeco Field. The numbers tell you we're in for a good one. The backstory, though, it is even better. These guys have faced each other several times back in Japan. I've got more on that in just a moment because they seem to like it. But first, the skipper tells us what his team is up against with you.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I mean, and you really have to put up a spirited AB, to make them grind it out and work. And, and that's what we need to do again today. I mean, you get something in the zone, especially something hard, you got to be ready to hit. But he has good enough stuff to make you chase out of the zone. And so, that's where the discipline has to come into play. And I think we've done a decent job of that in the past.
And again, these guys faced each other last year here in the majors in September. You won that game. Going back to their time in the Pacific League in Japan, these guys faced each other 6 times. You has 1 more win. Look at the ERAs against each other. Darvish with a 1.19. Kuma with a 1.36. The game back on May 8, 2010, both guys threw 9 scoreless innings. You had 156 pitches in that game. Kuma had 127. All right, their battles, they have been hard fought. You're in for another one. It's year 2 of you. It's also year 2 of Kuma. His 32nd birthday today. I think I know what Hisashi wants.
Weather outside might be a little frightful, maybe a little bit what you don't like on April 12th. But you know what? Inside with the roof extended, we've got Major League Baseball on tap tonight. Game 2 of a 4-game series. The Texas Rangers in town to take on the Seattle Mariners. Good to have you with us and all these hardy fans here at Safeco Field. Good matchup tonight. Couple of Japanese superstars, Yu Darvish and Hisashi Iwakuma, as we get ready for action here at Safeco Field. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, and the Root Sports crew. Let's take a look at the Texas lineup that will take on Hisashi Iwakuma.
Thank you, Dave. And for manager Ron Washington, leading off, it will be Ian Kinsler. Elvis Andrus hits second. Lance Berkman off to a great start, hitting .448 for the Rangers. And it's Beltre, Murphy, Cruz, A.J. Pierzynski. Again, off to a great start. Had a home run in last night's game. Made a nice play at the plate to salvage the win for the Rangers. Then it's Moreland and Martin rounding out the 9 for the Rangers. Iwakuma, see what he did last year. Really did an excellent job once he went into the starting rotation. 9-game winner overall, a 3.16 ERA for Iwakuma last year.
5th appearance for Iwakuma, 4th start against the Rangers, 1-2 with a save of 5.31 ERA. 3 starts, a 4.67 first pitch. He's in there for a called strike 1. Bruce Dreckman. He's got balls and strikes tonight. Clint Fagan at first, Gary Darling at second, and Paul Emmel at third. This pitch biased, gets that outside corner again. 0-2, 46 degrees. It's chillier than that Windsor column. 7-11 first pitch. Now loading in Kinsler, the leadoff man, went 2 for 5 last night. Couple of strikeouts, scored a run. Tough loss for the Mariners last evening, 4-3. Raul Ibanez had a ball go off his glove. That run eventually scored. Then the Mariners went out and left 10 men on base last night, going 0 for 9. Runners in scoring position. Bouncing ball down to C. Friendly hop. 1 out.
Take a look at our McDonald's Supermo and the leg kick of Iwakuma. A little bit of a pause, double kick, and then off he goes. Either that first batter, Kinsler. All those pitches down in the zone. Good look. A nice defense brought to you by T-Mobile. A little bit different looking outfield. Ibanez in left. Chavez getting the start in center field. Jason Bay, your right fielder tonight. Kyle Seager third. Ryan and Ackley playing up the middle. Justin Smoke is at first. And Kelly Shopik off to a good start. The backup catcher, he will be behind the plate tonight.
Here's Elvis Andrus, shortstop. The ball misses away. Elvis 1 for 4 last night. Got an RBI in the second inning. Slice and drive right field. Handled nicely by Jason Bay.
Dave, you mentioned last night's game. The Mariners had plenty of opportunities, and as you mentioned, weren't able to come up with the big base hit to drive in some runs for them. But I thought also fundamentally they made some mistakes early in the game where they could have moved some runners up, got some guys in from third with less than 2 outs. They weren't able to get that taken care of, and it ended up costing them in the end. I don't think they're going to get as many opportunities tonight against Darvish, so and they're going to have to be much better moving runners around when they have the opportunity to do that.
Look at Joe Saunders. Aaron Harang just added to the ball club. Michael Morse getting a shelf for a little bit. He says he's going to play in about 2 days with that broken finger. We'll see how that goes. Here's Lance Berkman. Last night, Morris lost. He was hit by a pitch late in the ball game. 2 nights in a row now. He had Saunders 2 nights ago. He runs into the wall in right field. And he's out for a period of time, and now Morse is out.
Well, he might get overruled on that if he tries to come back on Sunday. The Mariners finally have their first off day on Monday, and Eric Wedge may try to give him a couple more days and put him back in the lineup on Tuesday.
I hear you. Error on the side of caution is going to be a big part of this ball club. Popped up behind home plate.
That's the first fastball. Iwakuma is elevated. That one at the top of the strike zone. Take a look at Aaron Harang.
I'm laughing because I looked at it, see Beltre, who I think is one of the ultimate gamesmanship guys. Shopek's chasing the foul ball. He's got the big stop sign up. He's telling him stop, stop. And then gives him a big smile.
Kelly knows better.
He sure does. Kelly gave him that look. Get out of here. 1 and 2. Looked good to Berkman. It missed. Berkman 1 for 4 last night. Runs scored. And a double in the 7th inning. To Berkman, a weak wave, and he's gone. 1, 2, 3. Great start for Iwakuma. Mariners need a win. They've lost 3 in a row. Maybe they'll get it started with Indy Chavez back in a Mariner uniform. He'll get his first at bat of the season. One of the top pitchers ever to come out of Japan. He's on the mound tonight for the Texas Rangers. And here's the lineup that Yu Darvish will face this evening.
The Mariners starting lineup brought to you by Chevron. Indy Chavez getting his first start. He will lead off. Then it's Bay and Morales, Ibanez, Smoke Seager, Kelly's shopping. Off to just a great start. He will hit 7th. And it's Ackley, who had last night off, back in the lineup tonight, hitting 8th. And Brendan Ryan will hit 9th. Darvish in his numbers last year, a 16-game winner, 3.90 ERA. Opponent's average just 220 against him. He gave up 14 home runs on the year.
Indy Chavez, his first at bat. It's coming over to the Mariners, called up a few days ago. Pitch ran last night. Second tour of duty for Indy. He was with the Mariners in 09, 54 games. He had 273. Almost 13 runs batted in. So the ball goes down.
They've mentioned the loss of Saunders going on the 15-day DL. And last night Morris is going to miss, well, we're not sure how many days, but a few. And I think the biggest difference for Eric Wedge is that he has veteran guys that he can plug into those spots. You're going to have injuries. Guys are going to need days off. The fact that he has Ibanez and Bay and now Chavez, who they picked up at the end of spring training, and turns out to be a more important pickup than we thought at the time. You have some people that can help you out. As far as the veterans go, last year it was a much younger crew. There's Michael.
2-1. Darvish working out of the stretch. Saw that a few times last year. Darvish worked out of a windup, and I think as we saw him going through the season, just to get a rhythm, just to get a little consistency, stretch worked a little bit better for him.
I think it was either the second or the third time the Mariners faced him last year, and they had a lot of success. Biggest reason why is he struggled throwing strikes for whatever reason.
Indy drives one right field, and it is caught, run down by Nelson Cruz.
Cruz, not just a lot of power, but the big man can run. He was playing out towards right center. It looked like this was going to be a double for Chavez, but he just runs it down.
Rangers Ranger fans that have liked to have seen that in the 11 World Series.
In the outfield for the Rangers, David Murphy in left, Martin, the center fielder, Nelson Cruz with the fine catch out and right. Beltre at third baseman, Anderson Kinsler playing up the middle. Mitch Moreland is at first. And A.J. Pierzynski will be behind the plate. Rangers defense brought to you by T-Mobile. Ron Washington, one of my favorites. Really done a good job since taking over as the Rangers manager. Almost rebuilt that club over there in the way that they go about their business. He's more aggressive. They used to sit around and wait for the 3-run homer. They can do a lot of different things now to beat you.
1-0 to Jason Bay. Pitch outside, 2-0. That's 2 in as many nights. They had Morse hit up around he got hit on the hand on a strike, and then the next pitch he got hit in the shoulder. Now you got, that's 2 for Texas, and then the Drysdale school of thinking something's got to happen, don't you think?
I counted 3 because Morse ended up getting it twice.
Fair enough.
There's Michael.
Yep. So here's Kendrys Morales. Something's got to give here. He's 0 for 13, 8 Ks to Darvish. That's all that time for Morales. 0 for 13 when he's a member of the Angels.
Comes into the game hitting .286, has 1 home run, 6 RBIs. The switch hitter.
For 3 last night, walked twice. Well, we say you're talking about guys getting hit. Carlos Quentin got hit last night for the 3rd time in his career by Zach Greinke. Quentin had hit 3 in his past 3 home runs against Zach Greinke. Told that Greinke had hit 17 guys in the course of his career 3 times. Carlos Quentin. Carlos had enough. That gets by Pierzynski. Down to second goes Bay. Wild pitch. Here's what happened last night in San Diego. And now they're playing the feud. As you can see, Greinke giving up at least, what, 30, 40 pounds. Quentin was a linebacker in high school. Delivered a blow. And now the $147 million man is done.
Well, and he did it to himself as far as I'm concerned. It looked to me that Quentin looked out there, and if Greinke, if you see the other replay, you can see Greinke saying something to Quentin, and that's when Quentin went to the mound. I think if Greinke had just looked the other way or kicked around some dirt, Quentin probably goes to first base, and Greinke, there's a base hit.
There we go. He breaks him over. They're going to hold Bay at third as Murphy gets it back to the cutoff man. So finally, Kendrys Morales with a base hit against Yu Darvish. He's now 1 for 14. It's a big base hit.
And Morales uses the entire field. This time he goes to left field, finds a hole on the left side of the diamond. And take a look at our McDonald's Supermo as he slaps it over there for a base hit. Murphy, you can see how quickly he was able to get on it. No chance to score Bay. But I think, again, when you see that there wouldn't have been an issue. Greinke's shoulder obviously wouldn't have been broken, his collarbone. And now he's going to miss time. It's going to cost money and a lot of other things. And all he had to do was just kick around some dirt if he didn't mean to hit him on purpose.
8-game suspension for Quentin. Here's Raul Ibanez. Raul looking to turn around. A bad night. Dropped the ball in left field last night. Went 0 for 4, left 6 men aboard. He is the pros pro. See what happens.
Okay. Over on the radio side, he was my pick to click tonight because of what you just said, and because he is a professional. Typically, they bounce back quickly. That's what I'm hoping for Raul tonight.
1-2.
That's a good pitch under his hands. It starts him off with a 2-seamer up and away, and then that last pitch under his hands. It's one of the things with Darvish. Seeing some of the game that he had pitched against the Astros, he really was able to move the ball on both sides of the plate, at times elevate his fastball.
Darvish 6'5", 225, 26 years old out of Kobe City, Japan. against 40-year-old Raul Ibanez.
Great play by Pierzynski.
2 strikes.
Ball hit the dirt in the other batter's box, and he was able to keep it in front of him. About Pierzynski having a good game last night. He can still move around. See the lateral movement right away, going to block it. Didn't try to backhand it. Wanted to keep it in front of him. Good play.
1-2.
There you go.
Line drive, left field, a base hit, and the Mariners have a 1-0 lead. Got an off-speed pitch, served it in the left center. Mariners on top. A bounce back for Raul in the first at bat. RBI number 3 for him.
Just going with the pitch, elevated. That looked like the split. Running away from him, Raul. Not trying to do too much, protecting home plate. Dumps a little line drive out in the left field. That'll pick up a run. Good news for you, Dave. The Mariners are now 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position.
Needed it because the numbers, as you know, are not good. The 7 losses, the Mariners hitting .059er, 3 for 51.
But they're 2 for 2 in the games that they've won. Right, well over 300 in those games.
Yes, indeed. 12 for 35, 343. Justin Smoke.
We talked about the Mariners getting to Darvish. Having in trouble here in the first. You certainly wanted to get greedy and add on to that. Don't let him settle in.
4-1 to Smoke. Time to Tom Grieve as we look at Iwakuma. Got a 1-0 lead. Yu Darvish. Talking to Tom Grieve, Rangers TV color analyst, longtime player and executive. He said Darvish a lot more relaxed this year. He doesn't have a huge Japanese media entourage following every step that he takes. Here's a drive. Getting away from Martin, but he runs it down. Tagging and advancing to third is Morales. Pretty good ride by Smoke. 2 outs now. And runners at the corners. So Tommy said that Darvish really trying to be one of the guys and doing a good job.
As we take a look at the swing by Justin Smoke, Dave gave it a pretty good ride. Looks like he gets on him just a little bit. Gets that out towards the barrel. Just an inch or two, and he's got some action up against the fence somewhere.
There's Kyle Seager, 6th man to the plate here in the first inning. 1-0 Mariners. They have runners at the corners.
Had success against Darvish. 4 for 10.
Pitch outside, ball 1.
He's been struggling. It was 0 for 18 and then ended up hitting a line drive into right field for a base hit in last night's game to snap down. So now we can move past it, forget about it, start piling up some hits.
Is due 1 for 5 last night. Break the ball for strike. At third, Ibanez at first. 2-1.
22 pitches now for Darvish here in the first. That's another good sign for the Mariners.
0-2 here at Safeco Field at 9.58 ERA. 2-2 in total. 6.65 ERA against the Mariners. Down the line, that's a fair ball. Scoring is Morales. Ibanez to second, digging for third. Seager with his play. It's second. Here comes Raul, and he's going to score. Kyle Seager with a 2-run double, and the Mariners have a 3-0 lead over the Texas Rangers. Kyle Seager picking up RBIs 2 and 3.
That's what we're used to seeing. 2 out RBIs for Kyle Seager. Had a fine year last year in that category. Take another look at it as he turns on this pitch down in the middle of the plate, rips it right down the line.
That ball looks like it's destined to go foul, and it came back the other way.
Off the glove. I didn't see it hit the glove the first time of Moreland, the first baseman.
Seager at second. Check swing, Shopik, strike one. Kelly up to a good start, 5 for 9 with home run, 2 runs batted in. Eric Wedge's crew, early lead on the Rangers. Shopik went 3 for 3 Wednesday against the Astros in an 8-3 loss. A homer and RBI double. So another run out there for the Mariners. Pitch to Shopik. Bat goes for a look out. Oh my goodness. Luckily there was nobody in the seat behind it. One guy went over. I think it hit one guy in the shoulder. Goodness gracious. Kelly right back at him. Fan's got a souvenir. Fan offered to take it, to give it back. Usher said, you can go ahead and keep it.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that he was okay.
Good news they're paying attention. They also got a little bit of luck there, too. 0-2 strikes to Shopik. Shinsky's going to be active back there.
That base hit by Kyle, he not only drove in a couple of runs, but just continued to add to the pitch count. Darvish prolonging the inning for him.
2-2 with the runner at second. Kyle Seager, 2 outs. Struck him out. Good inning for the Mariners. Outstanding start as they get 3 runs and they get it on 3 hits and leave them in. 3-0 against the Rangers. On Root Sports is being brought to you by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax. And by BNSF Railway, the engine that connects us. Different weather pattern. Winds and the clouds coming out of the southwest. Flying up towards downtown Seattle. As we look northward past CenturyLink. Good start for the Mariners. 3-0 against Yu Darvish. Raul Ibanez with an RBI and a 2-run double by Kyle Seager, the beneficiary. The birthday boy, Hisashi Iwakuma, turns 32 years old today. Here's Adrian Beltre, the former Mariner. Beltre, Murphy, and Cruz here in the second inning. Strike one, AB, who's hitting .231 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. Amy all over the happy birthday wishes. She's got it covered. She doesn't miss anything. Our social director. 1-1. Beltre last night 2 for 4. And he got 1 hit against his good buddy, 2 hits against good buddy Felix Hernandez. That is fair ball. Seager throws out the range of third baseman, 1 out. Adrian Beltre has some interesting proclivities and some mannerisms. Watch this one. That's new for his days here.
I think he just added an extra little hop there at the end.
One of the toughest guys, hardest playing guys I've ever seen in any sport.
It's good fastball by Iwakuma. It looks like he has tremendous movement on getting in on the hands of Beltre.
Wants to be careful with David Murphy's 5 for 9 against Kuma with a home run. Mariners trying to end a 3-game losing streak. 1-2. Hot teams in baseball right now. One in the American League West. The Oakland Athletics. Good grief, they've won 8 in a row. Mariners beat them the first 2. They won the next 8. 1-2. Speed pitch getting looking. 2 outs here in the second. Second strikeout for Iwakuma. Tomorrow's Boeing salute to Armed Forces Night here at Safeco Field. Mariners take on his Rangers. In addition to honoring the men and women of the U.S. military in a special pregame ceremony, 15,000 fans, you're going to go home with a commemorative military coin following the game. Be on hand to celebrate and recognize America's heroes. Go to Mariners.com. Nelson Cruz, the right fielder. So you got Oakland's won 8 in a row. Kansas City atop the Central's won 4. In the National League entering today, Atlanta had won 6 in a row and the Giants 4. Ryan with a couple of hops. Throws out Cruz and Iwakuma. Hey, have a good birthday, huh? 2 innings, so good, so far so good. Couple of strikeouts and a 3-0 lead. great vantage point to watch a ball game. Time for AT&T trivia question. Which Japanese-born pitcher appeared in the most Major League games? Kaz Sasaki, Hideo Nomo, Takushi Saito, or Shigetoshi Hasegawa? I'll go D.
I'm with you.
He did starting, he did what, middle, and did a little bit of closing, right?
Yeah, he did a little bit of everything, and he did it for a long time over here. He was an all-star with the Mariners.
Yeah. Here's Ackley, and he's in an 0-2 hole to lead off the second inning. Ackley, Ryan, and Chavez. Mariners, good start. 3 runs on 3 hits. Left the man the first inning. Banez with an RBI single. 2-run double by Seager.
Saw Hasegawa in spring training, didn't he? I think he was there.
Yeah, early on. Yeah. Does he continue to do work for some of the Japanese TV?
I think so. We usually see him in Anaheim.
Yeah. Ackley's gone. Brzezinski comes down to Moreland. 1 out. Back-to-back strikeouts for you, Darvish.
Dustin unable to lay off the breaking ball. It's down in the dirt. Swings over the top of it. Again, good job by Pierzynski to keep it in front of him.
Boy, it's been a nightmare for Ackley. 3 for 31 with that strikeout. Brendan Ryan. Shortstop. Had to execute a suicide squeeze last night. Ball was bunted right back to the pitcher. Robbie Ross made a heck of a play.
So did A.J. Pierzynski blocking the plate, so Chavez slowed him down just enough where he could get the tag on him in time. So Chavez couldn't score on the play.
Mariners lose by 1, 4-3. Count evens at 1-1. Popped it up. Playable. 2 down. Let's take a look at these 2 squeeze plays, Mike.
Well, the one where Gutierrez is, this is a safety squeeze. So the runner waits until he sees the ball is bunted in play, and he scores easily on that play. The other play, the one that did not work last night, is a suicide squeeze. So you can see Ackley waiting. Chavez is already gone. You can see he's down the line by 3 steps. He has a good jump, but unfortunately the bunt that Chavez tried to score on was right back to the pitcher. A nice 2-hopper firm, easy play for him. And then again, A.J. Pierzynski using the shin guards to block Chavez and slow him down just enough to get the tag on him. So 2 different plays. One of them scores when the runner has to read it first, and the other one he doesn't score when he breaks right away. And gives you an idea, if you can bunt it anywhere away from the pitcher, probably both runs score. It was a different outcome last night. I like the call. Just didn't work out for the guys. So twice on the homestand. One worked, one didn't.
1-1 to Chavez. Out back. Andy Chavez last year with Baltimore, 64 games. Hit .301. He was with Texas in 2011. 83 games, hitting .301.
Heads up.
All 2 strikes. 12th year in the bigs for Andy Chavez. Has been with the Royals, Montreal, Washington, Philly, the Mets, the Mariners, the Rangers, the Orioles, and the Mariners again. Breaking ball and a good one. Strikes out Andy Chavez. That's 3 strikeouts for you, Darvish. Mariners have a 3-0 lead. pregame set here at Safeco Field. Hey, fans, tweet us your favorite plays each game at #RootFanFave. We're going to tabulate the results and present the top 5 fan favorite plays of the week every Sunday on Mariners pregame right here on Root Sports. And out in the pen, looks like it has been considerably expanded since last year. And there's the set where Brad Adam hosts pre and post game shows. And that is a happening place. Walked out to Edgar's today. I'm going to walk out to the pen tomorrow. Great vantage points to watch a ball game. His veteran catcher, 36-year-old A.J. Brzezinski. Former White Sox, Twin, Giant. High drive, right field. A.J. making a bid. Bay's going back. Makes a catch.
I was going to say last night when he hit the home run off of Felix, be careful with that first pitch fastball. And here it comes. They go with the first pitch fastball. And luckily, he was able to get in there just enough as he skies it to right. Wasn't sure if he had enough of it. You can see Bay going back there. I thought he was going to jump for it, but he catches it right in front of the fence.
21 pitches to get 7 outs for Iwakuma. Brings up Mitch Moreland. Here's another dangerous hitter. Power. Yeah, he's off to a very slow start. 194. He's 0 for 4 last night. He's 0 for 6 against Iwakuma. Rangers are 5th in hitting in the American League at 271. They're 7th in home runs. The Mariners last in hitting at 220, but 2nd in home runs with 15. Fly ball. Andy Chavez taking charge. 2 outs. Bring up the 9-hole hitting center fielder, Anis Martin. Mariners trail the Oakland Athletics in the home run hitting department. Oakland's hit 18. Mariners 15. Same with the Yankees. Yankees are 15. Martin last night 1 for 4. He got a 2-out single in the 2nd inning. Way ahead, 0-2.
I think he surprises hitters with his fastball. And he has the great split. The last one 85 miles an hour.
2.
Yeah, he's still way out in front of that. I think he surprises them with the fastball, trying to speed up their bat, which he's able to do. And it's rare that we see people able to take his split. Typically, they will try to swing at it, and they'll be out in front. It's been an effective pitch for him early in the season.
Nobody on, 2 outs, 0-2 to Martin. Pretty good birthday present to yourself, wouldn't you say? 9 up, 9 down for 32-year-old Hisashi Iwakuma. He's got 3 strikeouts, and the Mariners lead at 3-0. About Hisashi Iwakuma on his 32nd birthday. 9 up, 9 down, 3 strikeouts. He ends the third inning, top half of the third, getting Martin on an 0-2 pitch. It'll be Bate, Morales, and Ibanez for the Mariners in the third. Speedy recovery wishes to Jose Reyes of Blue Jays. Ankle injury, left ankle injury, trying to steal second base tonight. Carted off the field. This after gets off to a terrific start, Mike. He's at .412. Got a hit in every game.
I think now Casper Wells today joins the Blue Jays.
Yeah. 101 to Bay. Was hit by a pitch his last time up. Scored on the Ibanez RBI. Fooled on that one, 1-2.
Three pitches for Darvish.
Skipped that one by Brzezinski, 2-2. Just joining us, Raul Ibanez. He rallied nicely in the first inning. Tough game last night. Got an RBI single in the first, and then Seager a 2-run double a couple of hitters later. Got a full count. Coaching at third for the Mariners as we look at Kendrys Morales, Jeff Datz at third, and Mike Brumley at first. Payoff. Boy, hit him again. Good grief. He's hit twice tonight. And yet Morse hit twice last night. And who was the other guy? It was somebody else who was hit last night. Morse twice and
well, take a look at this. This is just a bad breaking ball. You can see there's not much on it, but it hits him right on the hip.
And Morse got hit. Basically, man.
That was it. Morris twice
Just
last night and
okay.
one at bat.
Yeah, and one at bat. There's Morales. Down low. You ever get squared up twice in one game?
No.
2-0.
It's amazing. We're talking about Darvish at the start of the game and his struggles with his command against the Mariners, and now the Mariners have taken advantage of it. For a couple of outings, he comes into this game 2-0 with a 1.98 ERA, and he is struggling right now, trying to find the plate. 48 pitches, 27 strikes, 21 balls. He's got 22 balls now, so he, for whatever reason, has a tough time against the Mariners. Take advantage of it.
3-0. And watch him on 4 pitches. The Mariners brewing something again against Darvish here in the third. Not surprising. Here comes Mike Maddox. First walk issued by Darvish. He struck out 3. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Darvish's got to throw some strikes. You're going to see Mr. Ibanez hunting a fastball, wouldn't you say?
I think so. Early on, he hit an off-speed pitch for a base hit and an RBI his first time up.
Bay at second, Morales at first. Ibanez drove in the Mariners' first run, breaking ball for strike. Here's the 0-1 outside. 0-1. Morrison, Saunders hurt. Abanya is going to get a lot of time here in the next week to 10 days. Breaking ball. Strike 2. Two on, nobody out. Scramble by Krasinski. Boy, he's been working hard. 3 innings.
Well, typically Darvish will vary pitches in front of the plate, but again, I just don't think that he's very sharp tonight. So every time he tries to throw his split, probably half of the sliders he's thrown up there are in the dirt. So AJ he's working harder than he usually would with Darvish.
Martin a couple of steps towards left center for Ibanez. Cruz shading towards right center. And all strikes out. Krasinski held on to that foul tip. 4th strikeout for Darvish. That's 1 down. Here in the 3rd inning. Let's revisit the trivia question brought to you by AT&T, which Japanese-born pitcher appeared in the most major league games. Mike and I both went with D. Hasegawa. The fans rode with us. Survey says nailed it by a pretty wide margin there. Mr. Hasegawa in more games. Smoke hit the ball hard last time. Nothing to show for it. Run down by Martin. Martin, rather, beg your pardon. Two on, 1 out now. Ball 1.
He hasn't had as good fastball tonight either. His fastball's been 91, 92 miles an hour. At times, he can hit 95.
Pitch 1-1. Crowd him and miss. 2-1. Young players just got to play through it. Smoke, Seager, Ackley, Montero not playing tonight. All struggling. At some point, you hope they're going to break out. 2-2. Big off-speed pitch.
Well, the nice thing about playing in major leagues is that you get to play every day, and sometimes the bad thing is you have to play every day. You take a look at the swing of Justin Smoke out in front of that off-speed pitch.
2-2. There's that off-speed pitch again. He's gone. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Darvish. He's got 5 Ks on the evening. Strikeout number 5 coming up tomorrow. Our Century Link to what's next. Alexei Ogando against Joe Saunders. Ogando, good numbers early part of this season. 2-0 with a sub-1 ERA. An opponent batting average under 2. Saunders has bounced back after not so good an outing. He had a win the other day against Houston. Here's Seager. 2 outs and a breaking ball. It's a 3rd one thrown by Darvish. Last, 4 pitches. Good start to the inning for the Mariners. A hit, batter, or walk set them up in good shape. But now they're 2 outs. 1st and 2nd. Infield, I mean the outfield has come in a few steps for Seager.
And they have Martin shading him towards left center field.
0-2. One is a first inning RBI single, and Seager a 2-run double for the 3 runs so far. Meanwhile, Iwakuma 9 up and 9 down.
Darvish now at 62 pitches.
The hustle to get out of the way. Did it hit him?
Kyle saying that it hit his foot. And plate umpire Bruce Dreckman said that it didn't. And when you're in an 0-2 count, you'll take that. Let's take a look at it, see if it gets a piece of the back foot of Kyle Seager as he tries to get out of the way of it. Sure did, right on the toe.
Pretty good indicator of him limping as he tried to get the heck out of the way. He was stumbling after
immediately.
Right?
That would have been pretty good acting on his part if it hadn't hit him, but it did. It hit him on the toe.
He's got a 1-2 count, 2 outs, 2 on. Back in there, not surprising. 2-2. Amazed it didn't work out for Kyle Seager. 2 on, 2-2, and 2 outs. Breaking ball. Kinsler goes short way. That'll do it. Mariners get a couple on. That is it. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left, 3 complete. Darvish trailing the Mariners 3-0. Happy November, but it is time to vote. Vote for your favorite Mariners t-shirt. That is Tuesday, April 30th. First 5,000 through the gates. You're going to pick up a specially designed Mariners t-shirt as decided on by you, the fans. To cast your vote for your favorite design, visit mariners.com/shirt. Voting ends Tuesday at noon. Mariners leave a couple on in the 3rd. Sasha Iwakuma celebrating his 32nd birthday today. 9 up, 9 down. He's got 3 strikeouts. Begins the 2nd trip through the order right now, and Ian Kinsler. Make a hit zone on Ian Kinsler. Don't get the ball up in the zone. He can hurt you.
Up and in for him. It's always been that way. It's unique skill. You don't see many guys hit .436 on a pitch that's up above the belt and inside. Typically they can't get to it, but that's an area you want to stay away from with Ian Kinsler.
Like one to Kinsler. The ball game off, grounding out the third. Swing, miss. Iwakuma pretty sharp tonight. Three strikeouts, 3 fly ball outs. 1, 2, 3 ground outs. Iwakuma, an accomplished pitcher. During his time in his homeland in Japan, he won 107 games and lost 69 with a 3.25 ERA. Look out.
31 pitches, 24 strikes. He's faced 10 batters, 9 first pitch strikes, so he's working ahead of them. And after that, he expands the zone by using either a split or a slider.
Iwakuma and Darvish went against each other 6 times back in Japan. A pitch outside. 2-2. Teammates in the 09 World Baseball Classic team. Iwakuma went 2-2 in the head-to-head battles with a 1.36. Darvish 3-2 with a 1.19. Kinsler gets into one high and deep left field, giving chases to Banez, running out of room, makes the jump, and he cannot get it. Home run, Ian Kinsler. For Kinsler, his 4th, and that breaks up a perfect 3 innings for Hisashi Iwakuma. 3-1 Mariners.
I just showed you the hot zone for Kinsler. This pitch is up right at the top of the strike zone. It's a good fastball from Kuma, 91 miles an hour, and that's not the area that you want to pitch him in. Ibanez trying to keep it in the ballpark, goes up over the fence, but just out of his reach.
From the cantina, as the fans watch Raul make a good effort, can't come up with it. The Rangers are on the board. Here's Elvis Andrus.
Home run, 339 feet.
Got it on a 2-2 pitch. 1-1 to Elvis. He's flying out to right. Fly ball right field. Bay had to turn around. He's on the track. And he makes a catch. Second time that Andrus has flied out. You know about the fence is being moved in here at Safeco Field. It's a high drive.
In this area, though, it's only about 4 feet.
Ooh, that looked like, yeah,
that's probably the distance, right?
Yeah. There's Lance Berkman, struck out in a 2-2 pitch. Ball 1. Good pickup. Accomplished guy like Berkman. Again, this Texas Ranger Ball Club losing Michael Young, Mike Napoli,
Josh Hamilton.
Josh Hamilton.
A lot of firepower out of your starting 9, isn't it?
It's a lot. I'm still amazed how these guys did not finish strong as he pushes one down the third baseline foul. Figured he'd get an easy base hit even with his speed.
He would have. But instead he's in a 1-2 count.
These Rangers, they led for most of the year last year in the American League West. The A's ran them down. Washington, to make the Texas, they fizzled coming down the stretch. A lot of it built around Josh Hamilton. A lot of the success they've had over the years because of Hamilton, and then his game fell off big time the last two and a half, 3 weeks. Ball and 2 strikes. Got him on a weak wave swing. Iwakuma with his 4th strikeout. There's 2 outs here in the 4th.
Take a look at the swing by Berkman. Fooled on this split. It's off the plate and down.
Bring up Adrian Beltre. He bounced out to Seager. Back this way, strike 1. Big Red, Brandon, huge fan of Adrian Beltre.
Good pitch.
1-1.
Pitch away was right on the outside corner. Real good pitch. Bottom of the strike zone.
Popped up. Shopnick will take a look, but he has no play.
.43 pitches, 32 strikes. Again, faced 13 batters, 10 first pitch strikes. Good command tonight of all of his pitches.
Yep. Let's get Beltre 1-2, 2 out, nobody on. Seager and Ryan were heading towards the dugout. They thought they had a punch out. 2-2. Two to Beltre, misses outside. Full count.
David Murphy waiting on deck.
Home run by Kinsler in this inning. Mariners got 3 in the first. Banez with an RBI single and Seager a 2-run double. Rolls over on an outside pitch. Ryan throws out Beltre. So the home run by Kinsler, they only hit the first hit of the night for the Texas Rangers. Mariners lead 3-1.
1. It's raining outside Safeco Field, but there's a roof over the inside. The Yankees beat the Orioles tonight thanks in part to a triple play. Watch this. With 2 men on in the 8th, Manny Machado hits one to second baseman Robinson Cano. He gets the force out at second base. Then the Yankees get Alexi Casilla in the rundown between second and third. So after they tag him out, they catch Machado off of first, trying to make it to second. They get him. It's the first triple play by the Yankees since April of 2010. By the way, New York won 5-2. Guys?
That was wacky. My goodness.
Seen triple plays before, but that was in the unique category. A lot of bad base running.
Terrible. Man, oh man. Kelly Shopik to lead it off. There'll be a lot of numbers in your scorebook on a triple play. Oh, brother.
We just put a big X, inning over.
Shopik struck out his first time. Shopik, Ackley, and Ryan here in the bottom of the 4th. Mariners trying to hit a 3-game losing streak. Four, 6, 5, 6, 5, 3, 4. If you're scoring at home. Kelly's gone. That is 6 strikeouts, including 3 of the last 4 hitters. That man, you garbage.
68 pitches, 39 strikes.
Justin's walk-up song on this at-bat was Fortunate Son. Maybe he can get fortunate and start hitting some line drives. Bouncing ball. He's going to find a hole. Kinsler backhand. Got him. That's a heck of a play.
That's a great play. With Dustin's speed, I thought he was going to beat it out. But Kinsler able to get rid of it quickly on the backhanded play. We'll take a look at it.
Money Tree in-time play.
I knew he was going to get to it, but he had to range far to his right, but gets rid of it quickly with a little something on it. And even with Ackley's speed, not able to beat it out. And when you're struggling to get a hit, that is frustrating as you're running down the line as hard as you can. And it just gets him.
Clint Fagan, the first base umpire. Here's Ryan. He fouled out to the catcher, Brzezinski. Second out in the second inning. Backhand.
As soon as that right foot hits the ground, the ball is on its way.
Yeah. Good work.
Yep.
1-0 to Ryan. Shading him to his right. Big. Giving him center field. Center fielder Martin is in right center and shallow, and Cruz straight away in right is shallow.
He's so far in towards right field and shallow that a line drive back up the middle might be a triple.
Still breaking ball for strike 2 and 1. So you look at that configuration, you're looking for the 4th outfielder in a softball setup, right? Where the heck is he? Billy didn't show up tonight. What is this?
I can see the rover out there. That would be Martin.
Man, 2 and 1.
Brendan a lot of respect, nothing but curveballs. Right now, Darvish, 73 pitches, only 55% of them fastballs.
(3-1). There's a strike. Counters run full. Ball sliced to right. Cruz is right there. Makes a catch. 1-2-3 inning for Darvish. 4 complete. Mariners lead at 3-1.
Today's Tracer Technology is brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Back here at Safeco Field, 3-1 Mariners. They got 3 runs in the first inning. Ibanez an RBI single, a 2-run double by Seager. The Texas run came in the 4th inning after Darvish retired the first 9 men that he faced. He and Kinsler on a 2-2 pitch homer to left field. David Murphy leads off. Ground ball down to Ackley. See now. Movie 42 opens today. A lot of good reviews. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. A lot of Mariner fans over in Lower Queen Anne. And Jackie Robinson Day coming up on the 15th. We're off on Monday, but we'll celebrate it here Tuesday against the Detroit Tigers. Mr. Robinson breaking the color line in 1947.
So Bob Costas talking about the movie today. A lot of good things to say about it.
Dave Anderson in the New York Times, who was a youngster and then eventually became a newspaper writer and covered Robinson his last few years. Had a good piece in the Times today, New York Times, if you want to look that up. Cruz fouls one off. 1-1. I would be remiss if I did not mention the great Larry Doby, who broke the color barrier in the American League about a month ago. Was it April, May? It was in July, I think it was, of 47. I was privileged to know Mr. Doby. Passed away a few years ago. Terrific man, and direct parallel. All the stuff, the way Robinson was treated, Doby got the same kind of stuff in the American League. Both Hall of Famers. 1-2. Larry Doby Jr. is a friend, and he said he realizes now how rich it was. His mother would say, "Larry, come in. Uncle Mickey and Uncle Willie and Uncle Henry are here for lunch."
That's a nice roll call, isn't it?
Right there. 2-2. Cruz first time up, grounded out to Ryan at short.
Yes, indeed. 32 years old today.
Big fan there, little youngster. His first appearance in Cleveland Indian uniform, July 5 of 47. Swing and a miss. Cruz goes down swinging. Iwakuma with his 5th strikeout. There's 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Are you the ultimate Northwest Mariner fan in the state of Oregon? Well, then Root Sports is looking for you throughout the month of May. Capture a photo on Instagram or Twitter with hashtag UltimateNWFanOregon, showing why it should be you. You'll be entered to win a trip and a VIP experience. Mariners Fan Appreciation Night is coming up in September here at Safeco Field. For official rules, go to rootsports.com. Brzezinski took Bay to the wall in his first at bat in right field. AJ with a home run, a solo shot in the 2nd inning last night.
Iwakuma went away from the first pitch fastball this time. Was able to throw a changeup over for a strike.
Line drive, Ryan can't get it. Great effort as Chavez will get it back in. AJ slams on the brakes, gets back to first. Good effort by Ryan.
It's a good play by Chavez also. I think Brennan thought he was going to get it awfully close as he jumps in the air for the line drive, just out of his reach. But Chavez was over in right center field, hustled over, able to cut it off and made a strong throw into second base. Good play by Indy. And the second base hit for the Rangers.
Kinsler got the first one. It was a home run leading off the 4th. There's Mitch Moreland. He flied to center. Iwakuma with 5 strikeouts. He hasn't walked anybody. Mariner trending on Twitter. Yes, indeed. Yu Darvish against Kuma. And a Seager believer. Seager coming up big in the first inning with a 2-run double. Oh. Brzezinski not a stealing threat. 2-0 count here. 3-0. Moreland batting in the 8-hole.
Looks to me that Iwakuma's being awfully careful with Moreland right here, trying to protect a 2-run lead. All those pitches off the plate, well off the plate away. You have a young hitter in Martin waiting on deck.
Right with a strike. To Mitch Moreland. First walk of the season issued by Iwakuma. Runners at first and second.
I think again he's been so good with his command. I just don't think he wanted to mess around with Moreland. Moreland has some power, a couple of home runs already this year. He wanted to take his chances with Martin. He was able to strike him out his first time up in the 3rd inning to end the 3rd inning.
How about that? 5th inning, his 3rd start. Just issuing his first walk against, counting today, 15 strikeouts. Keep that ratio going. He's going to have a lot of success this year. That'll work. 18 innings without a walk for Iwakuma. Swing and a miss by Martin. Boy, you want to send those numbers and that his work on a disc to every young pitcher in your organization.
The how-to video.
Yeah. 2 on, 2 out. Ground ball, Ackley smothers, gathers, throws him out. Well done. Strategy worked. Put Moreland on. Don't mess with him. Martin grounds out. They strand 2. Mariners 3-1.
Of the 5th inning. A reminder that we want you to join the conversation. Come on, it's a team game. For up-to-date game information, live interaction, be sure to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. Check us out and stay connected with Root Sports. Hi, everybody. Angie Mentink here at the Ford Sports Desk. Tonight was Tacoma's home opener. James Paxton is pitching in that game. I'll update you in just a little bit. I'll let you know how he did. Also, we will update you on the Tigers. They were playing Oakland tonight. Tigers, of course, coming to Safeco Field next. Guys?
All right, Angie, thank you very much. That's a power-packed lineup. Jim Leyland runs out every night. Detroit starting today, 5-4, game back in Kansas City, Central Division. Here's Endy Chavez, top of the order for the Mariners. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Endy's lined out to right and struck out tonight. Mariners got their runs in the 1st inning. Banez, is bouncing back off a tough night last night. Got an RBI single. 2 batters later, Kyle Seager 2-run double. Kinsler's home run, the only score for the Rangers. That came in the 4th inning, leading off.
Endy able to get here last night about an hour before the game. Ended up coming on as a pinch hitter, but getting his first start tonight.
Big breaking ball misses. Those 3 hits. 3 runs and 3 hits, all in the 1st inning. Nothing since for the Mariners. 6 strikeouts for Darvish, 1 walk.
He tried to help him in the 3rd. Hit Bay with a pitch, and then he ended up walking Morales. So they have 1st and 2nd, and nobody out. And he still hasn't found it. It's not sharp tonight. 3 pitches to Chavez, the leadoff hitter, and they've all missed badly.
Get Endy on board, see if he can run a little bit. Back with a strike. Strike 2 with a breaking ball.
I just don't think he has a lot of confidence in throwing his fastball for a strike. He's going to do the same thing to Brendan Ryan. To get back in the count with some breaking balls. Right now he's at 54% fastballs.
3-2.
Foul. And another off-speed pitch.
Darvish 2-0 with a 1.98 ERA coming into tonight's ball game. 16-9 last year with a 3.90 ERA. But against the Mariners, 0-2 here at Safeco and 2-2 in total. Payoff to Indy. Popped it up. Zinski's got to play. One out. Let's take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. This homestand continues with a home game tomorrow, 6:10 first pitch, and then Sunday afternoon, a much-needed day off after 14 consecutive days and 30 out of 31 for the Mariners going back into spring training. Then Detroit, 2 nights in a day before the Mariners hit the road again and go to Texas. That's a short trip, Texas and Houston. Calendar night. This young lady committing to memory when the Mariners will be home. Good looking calendar, too. Seager, Felix, and Ackley on the front cover. This will be an interesting at bat. Bay has been hit twice. The 3-2 pitch he was hit on last time, up a 1-1 pitch in the first inning. Perfect. Well, you'd like to see a gap or maybe a home run after getting hit twice.
You're right. And take your time going around the bases.
Oh, just low gear. Flaps down. Come on. To that outside corner. Darvish ready with the 2-2. Struck him out. That's strikeout number 7. 2 outs. Here in the Mariners' 5th.
Stayed with the breaking ball. All breaking balls today. Again, watching his percentage of fastballs continue to go down. In fact, now he's at 49% fastballs. Unusual.
Kendrys Morales, 1-for-1, run scored and a walk. A base hit his first time up in an 0-2 pitch, and that broke a career 0-for-13 against Yu Darvish. Darvish in his first start against Houston, 8 2/3, 1 hit. It's the Angels 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. He won both of those games. And tonight he's 4 2/3, 3 hits and 3 runs. A line drive right to Moreland, and that'll do it. 7 in a row retired by Yu Darvish. Good news, Mariners lead 3-1.
lead it 3-1. Now, Aaron Harang finally touched down today. He is going to start Tuesday. He threw a bullpen. Eric Wedge and company very thrilled with what they saw. This guy still has a lot in the tank. He set a career low in ERA last season, got to double digits in wins. Now, what this means, though, is Blake Bevan will not start Tuesday's game, and instead he will be working out of the bullpen. But his skipper says that is not necessarily a bad thing for Blake.
Well, I tell you what, we've done this. Carl and I have done this before, and we've had some success with it, where you throw them out in the bullpen, and maybe you bring them back in rotation, or they go to AAA, whatever it may be. But it's a completely different look. It's a completely different mindset down there. Different heartbeat. Just everything changes, and when you come in the game, it changes too. So I'm kind of excited about it. I'll see how it plays out down there, and then we'll go from there.
And the other thing this does, guys, is it gives Felix an extra day of rest. Because remember, Felix is going to need it. This is a long season, and the Mariners play 30 of the first 31 days.
All right, Angie, thank you very much. 1-1 count here to Ian Kinsler. Last time he led off an inning, it was the fourth inning, and he homered to left on the 2-2 pitch.
That's a good point that Angie made, too, about Felix. Typically 230 innings every year. Anytime you can give him a little bit of a break, that's a good thing, positive.
2-1 to Kinsler. Top of the order for Texas: Kinsler, Anderson, Berkman. They said to make a hot zone, and Iwakuma went into that hot zone and paid for it in the fourth inning. 3-1.
You can see that's the home run, the sixth pitch of the at bat, right there at the top of the strike zone. Getting just enough of it to carry over the left field fence.
3-1. Line drive, left center field, a base hit. Chavez gets over quickly to cut it off. And an aggressive turn by Kinsler, but he's back to first, and a good throw by Chavez.
Pitch out over the plate this time, but a good hitting count. 3-1 count, ends up jumping on a fastball at 90 miles an hour. 67 pitches now for Iwakuma, so he's in good shape with his pitch count.
Iwakuma with 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. Starting the season, 18 innings without a walk, the Mariner record. 22 1/3 by Cliff Lee 3 years ago. Here's Andrus flying out to right twice. One. Recording a good time for everybody. Chilly night here at Safeco Field. Raining outside. About 45 degrees here in Seattle. Roof extended has been a long time. Here's your one. Lance Berkman on deck, a 1-1 count here. Elvis Andrus, it's a huge contract, about an 8-year run. $30 million. Curious to see what they do with Jurickson Profile. Top prospects in all of baseball. He's now at their AAA club.
He won't be there long.
Saw him a couple of times in spring training. Other player.
Yes.
Shortstop by trade. I'm sure they have a second. Kinsler runs. Throw by Shopek. Oh, jeez. Thought he had him.
That was a quick release by Shopek. A great play by Dustin Ackley at second base on the backhanded pick, and I thought he did too. Looked like he reached around far enough to put the tag on him.
Gary Darling, the veteran umpire, down at second base.
Good pick by Ackley, and he knows he has to hurry up and turn around.
It looks like he didn't contact him, at least from there.
No,
I can't
he's
tell
still
from
not
there.
at the base, though.
There we go. He got him right there in the shoulder.
He
got him on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's when he first touches the base.
Got him on the shoulder. How about that?
Take another look at it. Dustin staying with the play.
Oof. Gary Darling hearing it.
This would be a great look. Looks like he had a piece of his foot. Definitely touches him there.
No doubt about it. 1 and 2. Good job by Shopik. Fans got to look at it on Mariner Vision. HD, big as a football field. For their money, a no-brainer.
Letting Gary Darling know that he owes us one.
2-2. Bouncing ball, Ryan. Throws him out. Andrus a good runner, too. Big play down to third. Goes Kinsler with one out.
This is a great play again by Brendan Ryan, ranging over to his right, gets rid of it quickly. Andrus can run, just gets him by about a half a step, but unfortunately with the missed call at second, now you have a runner, Kinsler, at third with just one out. Good play again by Brendan Ryan.
Berkman, Beltre, and Murphy coming up. Key at bat. Berkman's looked bad striking out his first two times. Chopper in front of the plate. Kuma's done a good job keeping Berkman way off stride.
He's done it with his split. First pitch, same.
They're not happy.
One of the better fastballs we've seen from Iwakuma, climbing the ladder. That pitch at the top of the strike zone and tying Berkman up. Doing a good job of mixing up his pitches. Again, 74 pitches, 50 strikes for him.
Well, this is my 7th year here in Seattle. I don't remember the consistent booing of an outcome of a play like this. Vociferous, demonstrative, angry. 0-2. Popped up, playable. Seager. 2 outs. Boy, is that a big one. Don't miss your first chance to pick up one of the most sought after t-shirts in Seattle. 2013 Kings Court shirt. Going to pick up this year's gold tee, a cake card, and a seat in the season's inaugural Kings Court when Felix takes them out next Wednesday against the Tigers. It's all for only $30 when you get your tickets at mariners.com/Felix. John Bentley in the crown getting all kinds of airtime in the first. What's this now? Game number 12 of the Mariners season. Beltre tonight, twice grounded out. Once third, once to short. Ground ball, slow roller foul. Base hit Kinsler to start the inning. Controversial safe call at second base. He takes third. A ground out by Andrus. Berkman pops out. And now Iwakuma trying to get Beltre. Keep this a 3-1 ball game. Excellent, well-placed fastball.
Good running fastball, yeah. Two-seamer ran it in on his hands. A couple of options now for Iwakuma. He can go back in there again off the plate or try to throw his slider, get him to chase it. Heading the count 1-2.
2 outs with Kinsler at third. Mariners by 2. A 1-2 count to the always tough Adrian Beltre. Kuma's ready. 1-2. Popped up. He's going to get out of it. Ackley puts it away, so no harm done on the blown call at second base. Runner stranded. Home 6 coming up. 3-1 Mariners. It's been brought to you by CenturyLink, your link to what's next, and by Sterling Bank. Nobody works harder for you. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Glorious skyline of the Emerald City, Seattle. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, Root Sports crew. Safeco Field. This is the second of a 4-game set with the Texas Rangers. The Mariners got 3 runs on 3 hits in the first inning, and now they're looking for their first hit since that time. While Labanez will lead it off, followed by Justin Smoke and Kyle Seager. 1-1 from you, Darvish. He struck out 7 and walked 1 thus far.
We'll see if the guys can make an adjustment to him. He's clearly had a game plan at the start of the game. Didn't work out for him in the first, and since then he has stayed with his off-speed pitches. Hasn't thrown many fastballs. Only 48% fastballs in the game. There's another breaking ball for a strike. Basketball, he's taking the air out of it. Sure is. Another breaking ball. 92 pitches, 53 strikes for him. No action in the Rangers bullpen.
1-2 to Raul. Missed away. Two. Darvish with 221 strikeouts last year. Most strikeouts. Second most strikeouts by an American League rookie in league history. Late great Herb Score. 245 strikeouts with the 55 Indians. Darvish went for 221 last year.
Raul now seeing 5 pitches, not 1 fastball.
3-2 to Ibanez. Breaking ball hit fair. Moreland's got it. Flips to Darvish. Time now for Century Link to what's next. Good pitching matchup. Alexia Gando, hard throwing, slender right-hander, goes against the veteran Joe Saunders. Gando off to a good start, 2-0, 0-7-7 with a 1.67 opponent's batting average. Saunders feeling a heck of a lot better.
Good bounce. His outing here at home was a much better outing for him. Bounced back from the first outing where he really struggled with his command. Hopefully he can come out tomorrow and throw a bunch of strikes. Keep his infielders involved in the game.
Here's Smoke. He's 0 for 2. Fly to center and a strikeout. Smoke at 184. Strike one. Fielder Martin shading towards left center. Big breaking ball. 64 miles an hour. He's working his way towards an Ephus pitch, isn't he?
He's taking the air out of it, just going softer and softer.
Folly floater. Steve Hamilton back in the day. Eparixi with the Ephus pitch. His bread and butter right now.
10 pitches in the inning and still hasn't thrown a fastball. Working his way down there. 43% fastballs now. Next pitch will be 100 for him.
Two and two to Smoke. Got to stick the fastball by him. Count runs full. That is 8 strikeouts. Second time they've gotten Smoke. 2 outs. Against 1-1 for Yu Darvish. MLB.TV celebrating 11 years. Join millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV baseball everywhere. And out here in the West Coast, boy, early in the morning, you can catch some games, particularly on weekends, get those really East Coast games. Yeah. It's great. Again, the Mariners have been no hit over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, now 4 2/3 innings. 3 runs on 3 hits in the first inning.
Left-hander for the Rangers. Last pitch to Kyle is the first fastball that he has thrown in this inning.
Oh, and 2, nobody else. 2 outs. Which misses outside. The 1-2 coming. 7-year career in Japan, 98 wins, 38 losses for Darvish, an ERA of 1.99. 55 complete games, 18 shutouts, 1,250 strikeouts. 2-2 to Seager. Down long, opponents hit just 204 against him during the course of his career.
106 pitches, 59 strikes. Another 3-2 count for him here in this inning.
Third one. 3-2 to Seager. Right off the end of the bat, foul.
Another breaking ball. Man.
You can see where on nights he does have the good fastball, but that breaking ball.
Right, it's tough, but tonight he doesn't. And he has a decent fastball, but he hasn't been able to locate it at all. So he has just gone to his breaking ball. He's thrown 18 pitches in the inning, and there's only been one fastball. And that was to Kyle. I think it was the second pitch that he threw Kyle was a fastball. Other than that, it's been all curveballs and sliders, an occasional split.
3-2 here to Seager. Kinsler will take care of it. Over to Moreland. 1-2-3 go the Mariners. Darvish has done a terrific job. He's held the Mariners hitless over the last 5 innings.
Tonight taking on Oakland, scoreless in the 3rd inning. That is until Prince Fielder connects on this 3-run blast. What a shot. Fielder, Miguel Cabrera, and Detroit, of course, will be at Safeco next week for a series. Guys?
Those guys can swing the bat. Thank you, Angie. Top of the 7th. Alabañez has been lifted. Franklin Gutierrez inserted. He'll bat in the 4-hole, vacated by Raul. Moving from center to left is Indy Chavez. Here's David Murphy to lead it off for Texas. Murphy tonight struck out looking, grounded out to second. Here's Goody. Franklin in center field and Indy Chavez in left. Indy. Indy tonight is 0 for 3. Murphy, Cruz, and Pierzynski 5, 6, and 7. As Charlie Furbush warms up for the Mariners.
Iwakuma working deep into a game again. He's only thrown 82 pitches in the game. He's been efficient.
Kuma on his 32nd birthday and struck out 5, walked 1. That 1 walk, the first walk of the season for him. 2-2 to David Murphy. Ball finds Goody immediately. Easy play for him. 1 out. Be here tomorrow for an MLS matchup when the Seattle Sounders FC kick off against the New England Revolution. Available live to fans outside the Seattle market at 1 p.m. with a re-air available to everyone at 3:30 p.m. It's all the action only on Root Sports. Nelson Cruz ground out to short and a strikeout. Iwakuma was perfect through the first 9 men that he faced before giving up a leadoff homer to Kinsler in the 4th. Gave up a single to Przinsky in the 5th. And a single to Kinsler in the 6th. Those are the only hits he's allowed this evening. Mariners got 3 runs with 3 hits in the first inning and nothing since. Runs or hits.
I still think that the walk that he gave up to Moreland was intentional. Those unintentional, intentional walks. 86 pitches now for Iwakuma. At the time there was a runner on first trying to protect a 2-run lead with a couple of outs, and I think he just threw 4 pitches wide to the plate and called it good. Went after the young hitter, and Martin, who hits 9th in the lineup, was able to retire him.
And a guy who walked was Mitch Moreland. He's got some tremendous pop, although he's off to a very bad start. Here's 1-2. Straight away and deep is how they play Cruz. Landed shortstop, a couple steps onto the grass. Here's the pitch. Stays at 1-2.
Right-hander Jason Frazier throwing in the Rangers bullpen.
One-two to Cruz. Swing and a miss. He strikes him out. Cruz goes down swinging for the 2nd time. That's 6 strikeouts for Iwakuma. First start for Iwakuma, 6 innings. Had 2 hits, 8 innings last time, and here he is 6 2/3, giving up just 3 hits.
Eric Wedge going to get him. 90 pitches, and that's enough.
Boy, yeoman work by Iwakuma.
Yes.
Tell you what, he is becoming a force here for the Mariners. Outstanding work here in his first 3 games. Standing ovation for the fans here on a cold night. Safeco Field. Hisashi Iwakuma on his 32nd birthday throws 6 2/3 strong here at Safeco Field. Mariners lead 3-1. Time for our Sterling Bank Nobody Works Harder for You. Some outstanding work by Iwakuma this evening.
Well, again, he's really pitched well. 92 pitches for him, or 90 pitches, 60 strikes. Take a look at Iwakuma tonight. He had everything working for him. Great command, had a good split. As he gets Berkman to strike out. That was in the first inning. Located his fastball. Great. There's a nice slider from him. Goes that fastball above the belt past Martin. Was in a little bit of trouble in that inning, but worked his way out of it. And another split to Berkman, who has been a hot hitter. Here's a slider to Cruz. A welcome effort. Eric Wedge. Some of the struggles they've had at home so far. A nice start from Iwakuma on his birthday. Enjoy the rest of your evening, young man.
Nice smile.
Yes.
Not attaboys from his teammates. With interpreter Anthony Suzuki there. What a nice turnaround from a year ago when he was trying to get acclimated. He was healthy. He was not fully healthy. He was buried in the back of the bullpen. And found his way once circumstances led to him becoming a starter in the second half of the season. Charlie Furbush takes over.
6th appearance for Charlie. 4.5 ERA, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks.
Breaking ball looped into right field by A.J. Pierzynski. Has been a big-time first ball hitter last night and tonight.
Yeah, he's been aggressive. Charlie didn't give him the fastball. This is a breaking ball that Charlie throws him. Looks like it's middle away. And Pierzynski has been hot. And it seems like anything that he gets his bat to is a base hit. Lobs that one out into right field.
There's Mitch Moreland, another left-hand hitter. Fly to center and a walk. Plays Shopik. Ball 1 to Mitch Moreland. Here's a 1-0. Just hit him. 45 degrees right now here in Seattle. It's a lot colder than that. Let's see. Chilled the air is here. Exhale of Moreland. No.
Stephen Pryor getting loose, and probably getting loose in a hurry out in the pen.
Denise Martin, scheduled hitter. A.J. Pierzynski has been a thorn to the Mariners. 2 for 3, a home run last night, 2 for 3 tonight, a couple of singles. Now 4 pitch walk puts the tying run aboard. Craig Gentry's going to pinch hit, no surprise there. He'll stay on and play at center field. Pretty good platoon run Washington has at center field. Both these guys can really run.
Kelly Shopik making a trip out to the mound to buy some time for the right-hander Stephen Pryor in the bullpen. See if he has enough time for Eric Wedge to make a change. There's Stephen. Looks like he's ready to go. Heat it up. Yeah. And that will be it.
So Eric Wedge will make the walk. Charlie Furbush, 2 batters, a base hit and a walk, and now the Mariners hot water. 3-1. 3-1 is the score. 2 outs, 2 on late against the Texas Rangers. Mariners 3-1, but right now in a little trouble. 7th inning, 2-on for the Texas Rangers. The new pitcher is Stephen Pryor, and he's got some work to do to get the final out of this inning.
Well, the good news for Eric Wedge is Stephen has pitched well in the games that he has come in, typically to get out of trouble. This will be his 6th appearance. Hasn't given up an earned run yet. 4 strikeouts, has not walked anybody, and opponent's average just 0.67 against Stephen. Good fastball. He'll be in the mid upper 90s with his heater. Also using a curveball these days in a split.
Rick Gentry's going to pinch hit, his first pinch hitting opportunity of the season, off to a decent start, 4 for 13. One of the fastest guys in big league baseball. He's already 3 for 3 in stolen bases. Mariners need an out right here. Brzezinski at second, Moreland at first. 0-1. Pitch here to Gentry. 2-0. $15,029 on hand here at Safeco Field tonight. 2-0 pitch. Out back. Iwakuma, you can understand him going through some anxious moments. He wants to give himself a heck of a 32nd birthday present. How about a W next to his name?
Well, he did his part, that's for sure.
Aaron Harang to his left. He'll get the start on Tuesday. Acquired yesterday. 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
Couple of good fastballs on the outside corner to get Stephen back into this count after falling behind 2-0.
Two outs, 2 on, 2-2 to Gentry. Mariners leading by 2. Big pitch. Strike 3 call. Stephen Pryor gets the job done. He shuts down the Texas rally here in the 7th. It'll be a happy 7th inning stretch. The Mariners lead it by the count of 3-1. And coming up in the home 7th, Kelly Shopping, Dustin Ackley, and Brendan Ryan.
Brought to you by Washington's Lottery. Want more chances to win some cash? Buy a $5 Mega Millions ticket with a $5 Mega Flyer and receive a voucher for a chance to win one of 5 $1,000 prizes each week. Play bonus play from Washington's Lottery today. Visit WALottery.com for all the details. Everybody dancing and stretching here at Safeco Field. Hi, everybody. Angie Menting here at the Ford Sports Desk. Meantime, the Tacoma Rainiers had their home opener tonight down at Cheney Stadium, and James Paxton started this game, and he was doing really well for 4 innings or so. He had 6 strikeouts through 4, but then he ran into trouble in the 5th, giving up 5 runs to the Bees. Right now, that game is in a rain delay because, of course, they don't have a roof. And, guys, Mike Zunino, he's 0 for 2 for the night, but he's still batting .357 for the season. Not bad.
That'll work in any league. Last time I looked, I think this should be more of a 7th inning bunny hop, as cold as it is tonight.
Some jumping jacks.
Oh, man. Need some more runs. Mariners have been held hitless and scoreless since their 3-run first inning.
Well, maybe they can do something against Jason Frazier. Darvish is done for the evening, so they'll go to the bullpen. Frazier's the guy. He has struggled so far early.
Bouncing ball through the whole base hit. Kelly shopping. First pitch swinging. He's aboard. Frazier been around a lot of time with Toronto. 2 stints with that ball club.
This will be his 4th appearance. High ERA, 6.75 for him. Only 2 2/3 innings. Strikeout. Hasn't walked anybody, but he has given up a couple of home runs. So Dustin Ackley can square him up here.
He is quite due. Ackley tonight a strikeout with ground out 0 for 2. 3 for 32 to start. Craig Gentry takes over in center field. Ackley trying to end to his struggles. 35-year-old veteran Jason Frazier. Strike 1, 1-1. Frazier signed with Texas as a free agent January 3rd of this year. Fly ball left field deep into the corner. Murphy. Wow, that's a great catch. Shopik has to tag and come back. That's outstanding.
Directly over the shoulder, a little Willie Mays by David Murphy. Ackley gives it a pretty good ride down the left field line. They were playing it towards the gap, and look at this catch over the shoulder. Great concentration by Murphy to take a double away from Ackley. It's a good play.
1 out. Bring up Brendan Ryan. Well, he knew he was running out of room, too. Nice piece of work. 1 out, 1 on. Ryan 0 for 2. Fouled out to Brzezinski. The catcher flied out for win. Side. Trying to shoot it that way.
Yes, he did. That was a good fastball from Frazier on the inside corners. You take a look at Michael Kirkman. Second time that we've seen him up in the bullpen. Brendan Ryan tried to inside out. Find that hole on the right side. Just a little bit late on it.
Tigers in Oakland 3-3, top the 8th in Oakland.
Just unreal. There's winners of 8 in a row coming into this game tonight, and they were down 3-0, but fought their way back, tied the game up.
Cologne started for them. How about the Houston Astros, boys and girls? 5-0 at the Angels, top of the 7th. Took 2 out of 3 here. Astros, the young Astros, 3-6 on the season. Here's the 0-2 to Ryan. He does get it to right center field. Nicely done by Brendan Ryan. Good work. The Mariners have runners at first and second, 1 out, top of the order, and Indy Chavez coming up.
A little bit easier pitch to handle on the outside corner, but it's up above the belt. Brendan not trying to do too much with it, pokes it into right field. It's a good at bat for him. I'll bring out Ron Washington. He has the left-hander ready with Chavez at the plate. And Kirkman.
Take a look at Michael Kirkman when we come back to action. Mariners trying to get a couple insurance or more tallies. 3-1 lead over the Texas Rangers. The life, love, and loot. Some youngsters on hand. Got the old school Mariner look. Good looking caps. They get the cards. Can't beat this on a Friday night.
I have a feeling those Moose cards are going to win out. Michael Kirkman going to take over. Hard throwing left-hander for the Rangers. Mariners had a chance to see him quite a bit last year. This will be his 4th appearance on the season. Just an inning and a third for him. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. It's pretty interesting. When Ron Washington went out to the mound, we all thought it was going to be an automatic go to Kirkman. You have a left-handed hitter coming up, but it looks like there's a conversation. Wash is talking to him. Pierzynski automatically tells him there's a left-handed hitter on deck. Wash looks like he's having a good time talking, as AJ is pretty adamant about it. There he goes, he's pointing again. And Wash finally says, all right, let's get the left-hander. AJ wins. I think he had intentions of doing that. He was just buying him some time. That was pretty funny, though.
Well, I said he likes AJ Pierzynski. AJ sometimes is it's had a reputation of being outspoken and maybe sometimes not Mr. Congeniality, but I've gotten along with him over the years.
That's pretty funny.
Well, why said, hey, he still got it at 36. Top of the order, Indy Chavez, 0 for 3. Line out to right, strike out, foul out to Pierzynski. There's a calling card, ball 1.
Just making sure that he's loose. 93 miles an hour.
Mariners 214. Runners in scoring position. That's up from a $197. On the ricochet, Finn got that souvenir. 1-1 to count. Kirkman, Lake City, Florida, 26 years old, 6'4", 220. 5th round June 05 draft by the Rangers. 2-1. Chavez trying to pick up a run or two here. 2-1. Goes the other way. They'll hold the runner at third, so the Mariners have him loaded up. One out here in the bottom of the 7th inning for Jason Bay.
Sandy Chavez get his first hit of the season. Mariners now 4 for 9 in the game with runners in scoring position. Chavez going with a fastball away from him, hits it hard into left field. With just one out, Jeff Dad's third base coach didn't want to take a chance on sending shopping. No, Murphy looked like he bobbled it a little bit out there, but Mariners now have the bases loaded.
Got him loaded up for Jason Bay. He's been hit his first 2 times up, struck out his 3rd time. Shopik at 3rd. They got Brendan Ryan at 2nd and Andy Chavez at 1st. Opportunity here. It's knocking. 3-1 Mariners. They have not scored since the 1st inning. And these 3 hits are the first hits since the 1st inning against Ron Washington's ball club. So far this season, Bay 1 for 1 runners in scoring position.
First plate appearance with the bases loaded, but he's had a lot of success. 287 hitter, 5 home runs with the bases loaded.
Kirkman set. First pitch. That misses. Ball 1. Mariners trying to pad that total as they look to end a 3-game losing streak. Pitch on the outside corner for strike number 1. Kirkman 1-2, 28 games last year, 3.82 ERA, 38 strikeouts, 17 walks. Here's the 1-1. Strike 2. Ground ball. Andrus, Kinsler, double play. Inning over. 8th inning coming up. Mariners still lead it 3-1.
by 2. Catch new episodes of Mariners All Access every Sunday throughout the season prior to the Mariners pregame show. You get exclusive sights and sounds from the week's play on the field. And if you miss Sunday's episode, tune in for re-airs throughout the week on Root Sports. For your local programming schedule, visit rootsports.com. Hi, everybody. Angie here. And this week, we have a very special Mariners All Access. It's called The Art of the Autograph. And we've got all kinds of great features, like the first time these guys were asked to sign their autograph and the challenges that they have to face, like trying to sign a round baseball, or guys like Tom Wilhelmsen. Can you imagine having to sign Tom Wilhelmsen 3,000 times? And what you as a fan should look for when you get your favorite player's autograph. All of that on Mariners All Access this week, guys.
Tom doesn't use BT, bartender. See you later. Come on. Thank you, Angie. Keep it simple, wouldn't it? W.R. Kinsler. Stephen Pryor. Pryor struck out Gentry, pinch hitting in the top of the 7th with a couple of men on to end the threat. Kinsler's had a good night. Homer and a single and a stolen base. Controversial stolen base. 2-0.
Right now, let's see if Steven can have a clean inning, and we'll see Tom Wilhelmsen pitch the ninth inning.
Here, here. Nobody up right now. This is Pryor's inning. Fly ball right field for Bay. Routine, 1 out. Elvis Andrus, who is 0 for 3, a couple flies to right and a ground out to short. Mariners threatened in the 7th, loaded them up, but a double play killed the threat. They went from innings 2 through 6 without a run or a hit. After 3 runs in the first inning on 3 hits. Finally, his RBI single, a 2 RBI double by Kyle Seager. Texas, Kinsler's 4th inning leadoff homer. So only tally. Just out of the range of Ackley, a base hit. Hit tonight for Andrus. He went 1 for 4 last evening.
And Elvis gets a fastball up out over the plate. Similar pitch to the one that Brendan Ryan ended up hitting to right field for a base hit. Andrus stays on top of that, didn't pop it up. Comes up with a base hit.
Iwakuma did a good job on Lance Burton and held him to an 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a pop-up. Strike 1. Mariners like to turn their first double play tonight. Well, that's a pitch he didn't have a year ago. 1-2.
He was working on that curveball in spring training. Last inning he was in trouble, was able to strike out Gentry on the curveball.
Balls, 2 strikes. Adrian Beltre's on deck. Andrus, a fast runner. He's at first. Not much of a big lead. 2-2 to Berkeley. Popped it up. Smoke taking charge. 2 outs. Big out. Save time and money riding Sounder from Lakewood and South Tacoma to Seattle. For schedules, visit soundtransit.org. Here's Beltre with 2 outs. Beltre representing the tying run. A couple of ground outs and a pop-up tonight. 0 for 3. Line drive, center field. Goody will cut it off. Andrus will ease to third. Beltre with a 2-out single, runners at the corners. He knew what he was looking for.
Well, Steven was trying to throw him a fastball in the outside corner and ended up in the middle of the plate. Taking another look at it, you can see Kelly set up on the corner, runs in the middle of the plate, and he hits it hard back up the middle. Solid line drive base hit for Beltre.
Pryor needs to get David Murphy here. Murphy is 0 for 3. Strikeout looking. Ground out to second. Fly to center.
Rangers 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. The Mariners have done a good job making pitches when they've needed to.
Texas left 2-1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th. 2-1 here in the 8th.
Kelly Shoppick didn't like the selection that Stephen Pryor wanted to go to and was just going to make sure. A lot of times they'll go out there and they'll ask him, "You sure you want to throw the curveball this time?" And if Stephen says, "Yeah," then Kelly will tell him, "Well, throw it with a lot of conviction. Don't just lay it in there."
Blake Bevan was talking about that. He got away from that in his last start. Hence the struggles. Here's the 0-1. He's ahead of Murphy now, 0-2. Stephen Pryor, the 3rd pitcher tonight, trying to get this one in the game in the win column for Hisashi Iwakuma, celebrating his 32nd birthday. Iwakuma was outstanding tonight. Here's the 0-2. Center field, Goody got it. Inning over. Stephen Pryor withstands a 2-1 challenge in the 8th inning from the Texas Rangers. It'll be Morales of Gutierrez and Smoke coming up in the 8th. Second birthday. He pitched an outstanding game for 6 2/3. Very impressive, Mike.
Yeah, he was. You see the 90 pitches, 60 of those were strikes. He had 6 strikeouts in the game, walked just 1 batter. The 1 run was a solo home run, and then Darvish struggled tonight. especially in the first inning. Gave up the 3 runs then, but then went through a bunch of breaking balls, and that made the difference. He was able to get through 6 innings. It looked like he didn't have much of a fastball. 108 pitches for him.
An interesting matchup. Japanese star pitchers going face to face here in Seattle. Mariners home 8th. Morales, Gutierrez, and Smoke. 3, 4, 5. High fly, mediums, left center field. Gentry, route number 1. Here's Tom Wilhelmsen getting ready for the 9th. And Tom will have 6, 7, 8 in the order for the Texas Rangers coming up. There's Goody, his first plate appearance here tonight. And for Wilhelmsen, he's already got 3 saves. Top of the 8th, Houston 5-0 at the Angels. Angels in last place in the division. All 1 to Franklin. Kinsler off his glove. Base hit all the way. Goody's done a good job, Mike, all through spring training and now here
Staying
in the
up
first
the middle the other way.
Yeah.
Yes, he has.
Really nice job.
A couple of home runs to right field, and this he stays back up the middle, hits it hard. Like Kinsler might rob him of a hit as you take a look at our McDonald's Supermo and the effort by Kinsler going up as high as he can. Right out the top of his glove, so that'll be a base hit for Goody, who came on for defense.
Smoke will bat right-handed against Michael Kirkman. He's had a difficult night, flying to center, striking out twice. That's strike 1. Detroit and Oakland top 9, 3-3. Detroit had a 3-0 lead in that game. Tigers will be in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week.
Let's see if Justin gets himself a good fastball middle away. But not over the plate where he can extend his arms.
Goody turned his back on that throw over. And as I see you throw, it wasn't trying to get him. Heart skips a beat every time you see him go near a wall or get back in first base and pick off the tip. Smoke's got a 1-1 count. Ups him ball down the belt tray. They turn the double play as they go around the horn. Here we go. Last call, 9th inning. Mariners have a 3-1 lead. Tom Wilhelmsen to take over. 3-1 is the score. And Bat Night, it's coming back Saturday, April 27th. Mariners take on the Angels, and all youngsters 14 and under score full-size Dustin Ackley Louisville Slugger. And that's thanks to Jack Links. You're going to hit a home run with your kids when you get them tickets to Bat Night at Mariners.com. Proven to Voodoo Child. Jimi Hendrix. The entrance song for the bartender, Tom Wilhelmsen, in his fourth game.
3 saves for Tom, trying to make it 4. ERA right at 3. 1 strikeout, 4 walks. Opponent's average just 100. Tom with a good fastball, the mid to upper 90s, the hard curveball, an occasional changeup to the lefties.
Big Tom's got Nelson Cruz leading off.
Fastball there at 96 miles an hour.
Popped out. Rudy taking control in the gap. 1 out.
It's a big out with as hot as Pierzynski has been. He's walking to the plate right now.
DJ, a couple of hits tonight. Last time up, first pitch swing, got a base hit to right. 2 for 3. Hit one to the wall, a high, majestic fly ball that Bay caught right at the wall. That was back in the 3rd inning. Wilhelmsen. A wrinkle in that pitch, strike 1. You Darvish on the right. Talking to Feldman. Not Feldman, that's
Holland.
Derek Holland. Center field. Like to see Goody react like that. Headed all the way. Make him the new Secretary of Defense.
Why not? I say it all the time. If it stays in the ballpark, he usually catches it.
$15,029 on their hands. On their hands, on their feet. That's how cold it is. I'm thinking backwards.
No, you're on your hands right now.
Jeez. 3-1 Mariners. To Mitch Moreland, who has fly to center and walked twice. '87, but way off the plate, 2-0. Two outs, nobody on. This will do it. This will do it as Ryan gets under it. Happy birthday, Hisashi Iwakuma. You got a victory tonight. You end a 3-game losing streak, and the bartender comes in for closing time. Mariners beat the Texas Rangers by the final of 3-1.
Iwakuma goes to 2-0 right now. Great job by the bullpen. The Mariners offense looked good early. They scored 3 runs in the 1st inning. And that was pretty much it. Just 3 hits, 4, after the 1st. But that was good enough tonight. It has to feel good to those guys. It's been a tough homestand, but to win this one and split the series so far 1-1 with the Rangers, come back tomorrow. Early game tomorrow at 6 o'clock, but nice win for the Mariners.
Yes, indeed. Mariners go to 5-7. The Rangers drop to 7-4. That 3-game losing streak is history. Post-game show coming up. Handshakes and attaboys all over the place. Brad and Dave Valley, boys, it's all yours.
Well, thank